Summary 0 to 1, Peter Thiel. Book link. Click here. The future will be different from today and rooted in the present. The best way to think about the future is to identify contrarian truths that are true but that most people disagree with. There are two types of progress: horizontal, extensive. Progress means copying things that work from 1 to n. This is easy to imagine and is globalization, taking things that work somewhere and making them work everywhere. China is the paradigm example, copying from the developed world. Vertical, intensive. Progress means doing new things from 0 to 1. This is technology, any new and better way of doing things. This is harder to imagine, but it is how real progress happens. For the past few decades, we have had both rapid globalization and rapid technological progress, but since the 1970s, globalization has dominated. However, technology matters more for the future. Globalization leads to convergence and sameness, but technology leads to divergence and difference. The author's contrarian view is that while most people think globalization will define the future, globalization will define the future. Technology will matter more. Without technological change, globalization and growth in China will mean doubling pollution. Technological progress is necessary for the future, and it takes time to achieve. So, in summary, the key message is that technology drives real progress and matters more for the future than globalization. Most people miss this, but it is a contrarian truth that pointing to the future may be different today. Technological change is challenging, but it is the only way to build a better future. Spreading existing ways of creating wealth globally is sustainable with new technology. New technology has been vital to economic growth, but progress stalled in the 1970s. Startups are critical to developing new technology. They are small enough to think differently but large enough to get things done. They question existing assumptions and reimagine entire industries. The 1990s are remembered as prosperous, but much of the decade was marked by economic struggles and pessimism. The tech boom did not start in the late 1990s. The dot-com mania lasted 18 months, from September 1998 to March 2000. It reflected optimism in tech amid global economic troubles. Money flowed freely, and lavish spending was done every day. Many people left their careers to join startups, some of which were sketchy. The boom ended in March 2000, but its effects still shape thinking about tech. Many lessons were learned, but some of the wrong ones. A new economy bubble formed around unrealistic expectations before collapsing. The bubble's demise led to a backlash against tech that persists today. However, tech progress continued, it just became less visible. Many late 1990s startups failed, but others, like Google and Amazon, changed industries. Progress depends on contrarian thinking that rejects prevailing assumptions. Bubbles form around popular delusions, so we must question them to find the contrarian truths beneath. The new economy delusion obscured that profit and revenue still matter. Contrarians avoided the hype and emerged unscathed. The key takeaway is that technological progress depends on questioning assumptions and reimagining the world, the kind of thinking startups do. Bubbles inevitably form around popular delusions, but we can avoid them by seeking contrarian truths. The 1990s tech boom and bust illustrate all these dynamics. In the late 1990s, there was immense optimism around the growth of internet companies. This led to the dot-com bubble, where companies were overvalued and spending unsustainably. PayPal was proliferating at the time but needed help to reach sufficient scale. They offered $10 to new customers and referrals to spur exponential growth. Though unsustainable, this helped them raise $100 million before the bubble burst, allowing them to survive. After the crash, 4 lessons emerged: make incremental progress, stay lean and flexible, improve on competition, and focus on product over sales. However, the opposites may be better principles: take risks, have a plan, avoid competitive markets, and focus on sales too. Creating value is not enough, you need to capture some of it. Big companies can be bad businesses if they do not make profits. Google creates less value than airlines but captures far more profit. Economists contrast perfect competition, many firms, no market power, no economic profits, with monopoly. One firm dominates, sets prices, and makes profits. Monopolies that innovate to the top, like Google, go from 0 to 1. Though Americans idolize competition, capitalism depends on the accumulation of capital, which is hampered under perfect competition where profits are eliminated. The lesson is that monopolies are not necessarily bad if earned through creation rather than bullying. The key takeaway is that entrepreneurship is about going from 0 to 1 by creating new technology and building new monopolies. Fighting competitors leads to perfect competition, which hampers profits and innovation. The path to entrepreneurial success is to build a monopoly, not compete in a crowded market. Most businesses are closer to perfect competition or monopoly, not in between. Monopolists lie to protect their monopoly by exaggerating competition. Google claims to be a small tech company though it dominates search. Non-monopolists lie by narrowly defining their market to claim dominance. A British restaurant may claim to dominate the Palo Alto British food market. Competitive businesses often treat workers and customers ruthlessly to survive. Monopolies have more freedom to consider ethics. Monopolies produce large profits but often benefit society by creating abundance. They reward innovation. Patents create monopolies to spur invention. Dynamic monopolies that keep innovating counter the harms of static monopolies that collect rents. Apple's iPhone monopoly profits came from creating a valuable new product, not scarcity. Monopolies that do not innovate get disrupted by new startups. Competition is always threatening their profits. So, while monopolies are often criticized, the reality is more nuanced. Creative, dynamic monopolies that keep innovating benefit society. They earn large profits from creating functional new abundance, not scarcity. Static monopolies that extract rents are harmful. However, even the most entrenched monopolies face threats of disruption from new startups. Monopolies are not inherently wrong and can drive innovation. History shows many examples of monopolies being replaced by new, innovative monopolies. Economics theory focuses too much on competition as an ideal state when monopoly conditions are necessary for successful, innovative businesses. Competition is more an ideology than an economic concept. Our society preaches competition and forces it on people and businesses even though too much competition reduces benefits. Our education system is built around competition and ranking students, even though students have diverse talents and learn differently. Higher education intensifies competition in unhealthy ways. The essay's author fell into the trap of competitive ideology, working hard to win competitions to get into Stanford and then aspiring to get a Supreme Court clerkship. Had he gotten the clerkship, it may have stifled his opportunities and creativity. Business language and metaphors are too focused on war and competition. According to Marx, conflict arises from differences. However, in business, conflict often arises from similarities, as people become obsessed with comparing themselves to competitors. Microsoft and Google are an example, as they descended into unhealthy competition with similar products even though they started in very different areas. This competition hurt their dominance. Rivalry causes businesses to copy each other and focus too much on past opportunities rather than new ideas. The proliferation of mobile credit card readers is an example, as companies just copied the square shape of the original square reader with different geometric shapes in a pointless competition. In summary, competition should be balanced with monopoly and innovation. An ideological belief in constant competition can be counterproductive. Similarities between businesses often breed more conflict than differences. Moreover, rivalry can lead to pointless copying rather than new ideas. Imitative competition can be hazardous and lead companies to lose sight of the big picture. For example, the fierce competition among pet product websites in the 1990s led many to quit. The rivalry between companies can also be distracting and counterproductive. For example, the rivalry between Oracle and Informix led both companies to waste resources on personal attacks against each other's CEOs. Sometimes, the best way to overcome a rival is through a merger, as PayPal and X.com did to survive the dot-com crash. However, fighting competition is usually not the best approach. It is better to refrain from engaging in competition in the first place or ending it quickly. Picking fights over nothing in the name of honor or pride is foolish. The key to building a valuable, enduring company is focusing on cash flow, not short-term growth. Most of a company's value comes from profits many years in the future. Many tech startups initially lose money as they build valuable products and services. The profits and cash flow come years later. For example, most of PayPal's and LinkedIn's value today comes from projected future profits in the 2020s and beyond. Short-term growth metrics can be misleading and distract from the long-term challenges determining a company's durability. For example, Zynga and Groupon focused too much on rapid, short-term growth and needed more on how to build a sustainable business model. The most important question for any company is whether it can endure and continue generating cash flow into the distant future. Short-term growth means little without long-term durability. Based on the analysis, a business is more likely to survive long-term if it has specific characteristics that confer durability and monopoly power. Proprietary technology. Having a proprietary technology that is 10x better than competitors in a vital dimension makes a business hard to replicate and builds monopoly power. The technology could be completely new or radically improve an existing solution. Network effects. Network effects mean a product becomes more valuable as more people use it. Businesses with network effects start with small, concentrated markets and then scale up. They must provide value to the first users, even with a small network. Economies of scale. Businesses that benefit from economies of scale have fixed costs that can be spread over increasing sales. They can achieve massive scale and potentially serve vast numbers of customers. Software startups are well positioned to gain from economies of scale. Branding. Creating a robust and differentiated brand is a way to claim a monopoly over a business. However, more than branding itself is needed. There must be a vital substance behind the brand, such as proprietary technology, network effects, and economies of scale. To build a monopoly business, start small and monopolize. It is easier to dominate a small market than a large one. Start with a concentrated target market of people with an acute need and few competitors. Expand from there deliberately. Scale up deliberately, add new features and markets over time based on customer demand and adjacent possibilities and maintain the company's core focus. Do not scale too quickly. Bundle and integrate. Create bundled products and integrated platforms to strengthen network effects and lock in customers. Integration of products and services provides more value than the sum of the individual components. Buy and integrate. As the business scales up, make strategic acquisitions to expand into new markets, incorporate useful technology, hire key talent, and defend against competitors. Integrate acquisitions into the company's existing products and brand. Expand geographically. Once dominated in the initial market, expand to new geographic regions. The global expansion allows the business to continue scaling and realize its full potential. Raise barriers to competition, build brands, proprietary technology, networks, and scale that competitors struggle to replicate. Integrate products and services to increase lock-in. Make strategic acquisitions to eliminate potential threats. In summary, a company can build a long-lasting monopoly business by starting small, scaling up deliberately, strengthening network effects, maximizing economies of scale, branding effectively, and raising high barriers to competition. The business must have a vital substance, not just superficial characteristics. With the right qualities and deliberate strategy, a company can dominate its market for the long term. Competing in a large market with many competitors takes much work. Competition makes profits low. Profits are often low due to competition. Successful companies start by dominating a small niche market. Once they dominate a niche, they gradually expand into related, larger markets. Amazon started with books, then expanded to CDs, videos, and more. eBay started with Beanie Babies and other collectibles before expanding to various products. It is better to gradually scale up to adjacent markets than to try to disrupt large competitors. Disruption attracts much attention but often leads to costly competition. Expanding the overall market is better than taking business away from competitors. Being the last mover is better than being the first mover. Make the last great innovation in a market and enjoy years of high profits. Study the long-term vision before worrying about short-term competition. Success comes from skill more than luck. While chance events play some role, serial entrepreneurs show that success can be replicated. People in previous generations believed in shaping their luck through hard work. You can believe the future is uncertain and based primarily on luck, or you can believe that the future is something you can shape and control through your efforts. The latter mindset will serve you better as an entrepreneur. You can overcome challenges and turn uncertainty into opportunities with hard work and the right mindset. The key points are: start small, dominate a niche, scale up gradually, avoid direct competition and disruption, aim to be the last mover with a long-term vision. Success comes more from skill than luck. You can control your future through hard work and the right mindset. Following these principles will set you up for success as an entrepreneur. A definite view of the future leads one to make concrete plans and pursue a focused path. An indefinite view leads one to keep options open and have no specific plans. Indefinite pessimism results in drift and lack of purpose. Definite pessimism leads to preparing for decline by cautious planning. Definite optimists make bold plans to shape a better future. Indefinite optimists expect progress but do not need to make concrete plans. Examples: Europe has indefinite pessimism. There is a sense of decline but no vision or plan. China has definite pessimism. There is a sense of impending crisis and strict planning to prepare for challenges. Past leaders had definite optimism. They made bold plans that led to progress like infrastructure projects, technological advances, and space travel. Indefinite optimists today, like private equity investors, expect progress but do not need to make specific long-term plans. They rearrange existing elements rather than build new things. The baby boom generation grew up with indefinite optimism and a sense of entitlement to progress without effort or planning. This shaped their expectations and worldview. The critical distinction is whether one's view of the future is definite, concrete and planned, or indefinite, open-ended and unplanned. This influences how individuals and societies approach to progress, challenges, and future shaping. Malcolm Gladwell's success stems from favorable personal circumstances and being part of the baby boomer generation. Baby boomers attribute success to chance rather than hard work and planning. Gladwell appears critical of the self-made businessman myth but perpetuates his generation's view. An indefinitely optimistic world values optionality and diversification over purpose and direction. In finance, money is accrued through diversified investments rather than creating value. In politics, leaders shape their image to match public opinion and favor entitlement programs over solutions. Philosophy shifted from definite optimism that expected progress to indefinite optimism without vision. In biology, discovering drugs relies on chance over theory. Biotech startups have an indefinite attitude, attributing difficulty to biology rather than their approach. Overall, an indefinitely optimistic world prizes process over purpose and diversification over the direction. Money, politics, philosophy, and science have favored open-ended optionality over concrete plans and solutions. Success is attributed to circumstance rather than effort or vision. The difficulty of problems becomes an excuse for an indefinite approach rather than a call for intensified work or theoretical insight. Indefinite optimism, the belief that the future will be better without concrete plans, is unsustainable. Progress requires design and planning, not just evolution. Venture capitalists aim to invest in early-stage companies that they believe will become much more valuable over time. Most venture-backed companies fail, but VCs hope a few big successes will compensate for the losses. Venture capital returns follow a power law distribution, not a standard bell curve. A small number of companies radically outperform all others. These exponential winners are the source of all the returns. The Pareto principle, or 80-20 rule, is a power law frequently appearing in business and finance. A minority of causes, inputs, or efforts usually produce the most results, outputs, or rewards. Money makes money. Compounding returns are extraordinarily powerful over time. This is why venture funds have a 10-year lifespan. It can take a long time for the exponential growth of successful companies to accelerate. The power law means that differences in performance are more extreme than people commonly expect. We live in an unequal world where small initial advantages often lead to huge gaps over time. This insight is both sobering and empowering. It would help if you found companies that will grow exponentially to succeed in venture capital. However, even veteran VCs need help because they need to pay more attention to the degree of difference between companies. They expect returns to be normally distributed, not power law distributed. The insight that ventures returns follow a power law is critical to understanding startup investing. The rewards will be disproportionately huge if you can identify companies with exponential growth potential. However, the challenges are also more significant than most realize. Venture capital returns follow a power law distribution, not a normal distribution. A small number of investments generate the vast majority of returns. Diversification could work better for VC funds. VC funds should focus on a few potential home run investments. Investments should have the potential to return the entire fund. Otherwise, it is not worth it. Instagram returned 312x for Andreessen Horowitz, but not enough for their $1.5 billion fund. They need many more Instagrams to break even. It takes time for the power law distribution to become apparent. In the early days, investments seem similar. Over 10+ years, the differences have become stark. The power law is counterintuitive and hard to internalize because investors spend most of their time focused on companies in the early stages, where differences seem minor. No one wants to admit that investment is failing, so more time is spent on struggling companies. The power law is so large that it hides in plain sight. Venture capital seems like a small niche but produces an outsized impact. The power law applies to individuals and careers as well. You cannot diversify your own life or startup. You must focus on one potentially valuable thing. People are taught the opposite of the power law in school. Curriculums promote generic, homogenized knowledge and hedging your bets. If you start a company, focus on what matters according to the power law: one market, one strategy, critical moments in time. Important secrets and ideas start unknown and unconventional. Pythagoras had to discover his theorem. Conventional wisdom will not give you an edge. Most people act as if there are no secrets left to discover. Extremists like the Unabomber and the mainstream hold this view. The Unabomber argued that without challenging problems to solve, people become depressed. He wanted to destroy technology so people could work on complex problems again. There are 4 reasons why people do not believe in secrets. Incrementalism. We are taught to progress slowly in small steps. This discourages significant discoveries. Risk aversion. People fear being wrong, so they avoid secrets that have not been validated. Complacency. Elites are adorable with the status quo and do not search for new secrets. Flatness. Globalization makes the world seem fully explored. People think any secret would have been found already. A world without secrets assumes we have solved all great questions and have a perfect understanding of justice, economics, etc. However, this is false. Injustices, market inefficiencies, and business failures show there are still secrets. Not believing in secrets leads to smugness, cults of personality, and failure to recognize moral truths or market inefficiencies until it is too late. Secrets drive progress, so we must cultivate a sense of wonder about what remains to be discovered. The decline of HP shows what happens when a company stops believing in secrets. In the 1990s, HP was innovative but failed to keep discovering new secrets. Lack of progress led the company to decline in value. In summary, secrets remain to be found, but social and psychological factors discourage us from looking for them. We must overcome complacency and nurture a belief in secrets to enable moral, intellectual, and economic progress. HP was founded in 1939 and grew into a hugely successful tech company, reaching a market cap of $135 billion in 2000. However, HP stopped innovating after 1999 and instead focused on services, consulting, and mergers. As a result, its market cap plunged to $70 billion by 2005 and $23 billion by 2012. HP's board dysfunction contributed to this downfall. The board split into 2 factions, one that wanted to pursue new technologies, led by Tom Perkins, and one that took a passive night watchman role, led by Patricia Dunn. Dunn's faction must. The lesson is that companies must continuously search for secrets, insights into science, technology, people, and bust that others have not yet discovered. Some examples of companies that found valuable secrets include Airbnb, Lyft, Uber, and PayPal. There are 2 types of secrets: secrets of nature and secrets about people. Nature's secrets exist in the physical world, while people's secrets relate to human behaviors and motivations. The best place to look for secrets is where no one else is looking. Once you find a secret, you must decide whether to tell anyone. You should usually only tell those who need to know, like the people in your company. Great companies are built on secrets that are hidden from the outside world. To build a successful company, you have to get the foundations right. Beginnings are qualitatively different and unique. In summary, the key lessons are: continuously search for valuable secrets and insights, keep those secrets hidden, and build a solid foundation to maximize your chance of success. Early decisions made by founders are hard to change later on and can have long-lasting impacts, like the compromises made by the framers of the U.S. Constitution. Similarly, choices made early on in a company, such as choosing co-founders or early hires, take much work to correct and determine the company's foundation. Choosing co-founders is like getting married, so you need co-founders with shared prehistory who work well together. Otherwise, conflicts can doom the company. Within a company, there needs to be alignment between ownership, who legally owns equity, possession, who runs the company day-to-day, and control, who governs the company. Misalignment between these can cause problems. For example, CEOs may focus on short-term gains to maximize compensation rather than long-term value creation. Smaller boards, ideally 3 to 5 people, exercise the most effective oversight for startups. Larger boards need more oversight and can jeopardize the company. Every board member matters, so choose them wisely. Everyone involved in the company should be involved full-time. Part-time employees, consultants, and remote workers must be more aligned and reduce value. They should either be on the bus or off the bus. Proper compensation is needed to keep people fully committed. Paying the CEO less correlates with better company performance. Equity, such as stock options, helps align incentives for the long term. Cash is not king. Beyond a base salary, equity is better for incentivizing people and aligning them with the company's success. Salaries should only be high enough to hire and retain the best people. Here's a summary: the CEO of an early-stage startup should receive, at most, $150,000 in salary. Higher pay encourages short-term thinking and value grabbing. Low pay and equity align interests with long-term value creation. Equity is the best way to align incentives. Allocation should be done carefully to avoid resentment. Equal shares are usually mistaken since people have different responsibilities, skills, and opportunity costs. However, different amounts also seem unfair. There is no perfect formula, so keeping details private is best. Most people prefer cash over equity. Equity is liquid, tied to one company, and worthless if the company fails. However, those who prefer equity show a preference for long-term value creation. A startup's founding moment only happens once, but the founding can last as long as creation continues and end when it stops. The idea is to extend the founding indefinitely. Company culture is not about perks but about mission and team. The PayPal Mafia formed strong relationships that transcended the original company. Relationships are the most valuable asset, so spend time with people aiming for long-term cooperation. Recruiting is key. Look for talented people excited to work with your team on your mission. General equity, talent, or purpose claims will not attract the best. Focus on what makes your company uniquely worth joining. Build a team of talented people aiming for long-term relationships. Start by hiring a few primed for high equity and responsibilities, then show recruits why your mission and team are worth joining for the long haul. A compelling mission that no one else can accomplish is critical to attracting top talent. Explaining why the work and team are uniquely matched to a recruit's abilities is also important. Compensation and perks are secondary. Startups should hire people with a similar passion for the mission but give each employee a clearly defined, unique role. This reduces conflict and helps the startup move fast. The cultures of successful startups resemble cults in their extreme dedication but are based on truth rather than fanaticism. More extreme options like consulting firms need more vision and long-term thinking. Sales and distribution are underrated, especially in Silicon Valley. Nerds wrongly assume that if you build it, they will come. However, advertising and sales work through subtle long-term effects, even on skeptics. Sales are complex but often appear easy. Skilled salespeople seem superficial but are acting to persuade through hidden techniques. Master salespeople operate undetected. Their work looks effortless but is the result of expertise and practice. In summary, a compelling mission, hiring for passionate occultish culture, and investing in masterful sales and distribution are keys to startup success that are often underestimated or misunderstood. With the right vision and team, sales and growth follow. Tom Sawyer managed to get his friends to whitewash his fence for him by making it seem desirable. He then got them to pay him for the privilege, showing his persuasion and sales skills. Sales work best when subtle and hidden. Many jobs that involve selling have titles that obscure that fact, like account executive or business development. People do not prefer to avoid being reminded when they are being sold something. Sales ability is critical to success in many fields. Even seemingly objective areas like academia involve persuasion and self-promotion. The belief that a great product sells itself is a myth. Distribution and sales are essential. Two key metrics determine effective distribution: customer lifetime value, CLV, or the profit from a customer over time, must exceed customer acquisition cost, CAC, or the amount spent to get a new customer. Distribution methods range from complex, high-touch sales to mass marketing and advertising. Complex sales for very high-priced products require a lot of hand-holding and relationship building. Deals are infrequent but large. Companies focused on complex sales should aim for 50 to 100% annual growth over a decade. Personal sales for mid-priced products involve building relationships to sell to many small customers. Idrisis hires salespeople who expand the product's reach and value. ZocDoc is an example. The distribution doldrums refer to a dead zone where a product is too expensive for marketing, but deal sizes are too small for personal sales. Many small businesses struggle here. Marketing and advertising suit low-priced, mass-market products where other distribution will not work, like Procter & Gamble selling detergent. Advertising can also work for startups when CLV exceeds CAC, as with Warby Parker selling glasses online. In summary, more than great products is needed. Sales, distribution, and marketing are essential to take a product to market, and the methods depend on factors like price, deal size, and customer type. With hard work and the right strategy, even complex sales and overcoming the distribution doldrums are possible. However, there are no shortcuts. All products require hustling to reach customers. Warby Parker sells eyeglasses for around $100 per pair, giving them a customer lifetime value of a few $100s. This needs to be higher to justify personal marketing for each customer. Instead, Warby Parker runs TV ads and viral marketing to cheaply reach as many potential customers as possible. Startups should avoid competing with big companies' flashy ad campaigns and PR stunts. PayPal hired James Doohan, Scotty from Star Trek, as a spokesman, but it needed to be more effective. Only big companies like Priceline can afford celebrity spokespeople. Viral products encourage users to invite friends, fueling exponential growth. PayPal gave users money to sign up and refer friends, helping them grow 7% daily. They targeted power sellers on eBay, who made frequent payments. Dominating a vital niche market allows you to dominate the overall market. Most businesses fail due to poor distribution of sound products. You will succeed if you can make one distributor finish ion channel work. If you try to fail at all of them, you are finished. You must sell your company to employees, investors, and the media, not just customers. People will not only join or invest in your company or write about it with active recruiting, pitching, and PR. Everyone is a salesperson, whether they realize it or not. You are the salesperson if you are waiting to see salespeople in your company. Computers are complements for humans, not substitutes. Even as technology improves, human workers will not remain relevant. The most valuable companies will empower humans rather than replace them. People worry that advancing technology will eliminate jobs, but computers do not compete for jobs or resources as people do. Globalization meant cheaper human substitutes, but computers complement human workers rather than substitute for them. The economic effects of technology are more complex than simplistic substitution. Competition from globalization means people compete for jobs and resources. While trade has benefits, it also means more competition for jobs and higher prices. Competition from technology and computers is different. Humans and computers have fundamentally different strengths, so they complement each other rather than compete. Computers excel at efficient data processing but need help with basic judgments that are simple for humans. Examples from PayPal and Palantir show how human-computer hybrid systems can achieve much better results than alone. PayPal used software and human analysts together to reduce fraud. Palantir uses software to analyze data and flag suspicious activities for human analysts to review. Many valuable businesses are built on complementarity between humans and computers. Computers enhance human capabilities rather than replace them. Examples include LinkedIn, which helps recruiters source candidates, and software that helps law, medicine, and education professionals. A focus on replacement comes from education and training in computer science. Academics aim to reduce human capabilities to specialized tasks that can be conquered separately. Fields like machine learning and computational creativity evoke replacement rather than complementarity. A hybrid approach that combines human and machine strengths is needed. Purely human or purely computational systems will outperform hybrid ones that play to the comparative advantages of each. The key ideas are that humans and computers have fundamentally complementary strengths, not competitive ones. Valuable businesses and systems are built by combining human and machine capabilities rather than replacing one with the other. A hybrid approach that utilizes the comparative advantages of humans and computers will outperform purely human or computational systems. Many believe that computers can perform any task if given enough data. Netflix, Amazon, and Google Translate are examples of machine learning algorithms using large datasets to provide recommendations and translations. However, more than big data is needed. While computers can find patterns, they cannot interpret complex behaviors or compare patterns from different sources. Human analysts are still needed to gain actionable insights. The most valuable companies will use computers to help humans solve complex problems, not replace them. There are fears that ever smarter computers will eventually lead to solid AI that surpasses human capabilities, with unknown consequences. However, strong AI is unlikely shortly. While we should be mindful of long-term risks, we should focus on using current technologies to build a better world. In the 2000s, many believed clean technology would be the next big thing. However, the clean tech bubble burst, with many companies going bankrupt. Clean tech failed for several reasons. Most did not have breakthrough technologies, only incremental improvements. Radical 10x improvements are needed for new technologies to succeed. The timing needed to be corrected. As the microprocessor analogy suggested, the clean tech market needed to be faster moving and poised for rapid growth. New entrants needed a realistic plan to dominate the market. Huge potential markets mean fierce competition. While the energy market was large enough for many companies, most believed they had a competitive advantage when they did not. The other questions, people, distribution, durability, secret, must be addressed adequately. At least 5 to 6 questions need good answers for a company to succeed. In summary, the failure of clean tech shows that new technologies require far more than just a promising concept and a sizable potential market. Revolutionary innovation, impeccable timing, and a realistic competitive advantage are all needed, and even then, Success is not guaranteed. Technologies can still change the world with hard work and the right approach. However, we must always be skeptical of the next big thing. Thin film solar technology was just one of many solar cell technologies. Customers only care about technologies that solve their problems in a superior way. A company must be able to monopolize a unique solution for a small market to avoid intense competition. This happened to Mia Soleil, which was acquired for much less than investors put in. It is easy for companies to mistakenly think they have a monopoly by narrowly defining their market. The relevant market for a solar company may be the global solar market or the entire renewable energy market, not just the US solar market. Most cleantech companies were too small to dominate any meaningful market. Cleantech companies were often run by non-technical executives who were good at raising money but not at building products customers wanted. The best companies are run by technical founders rather than executives who look like salespeople. Cleantech companies were good at attracting investors and government support but often needed to remember about customers. It took much work for customers to buy their products. Better Place, an electric vehicle company, made it complicated for customers to buy their cars and went bankrupt. Cleantech companies should have anticipated how the energy market might change in the coming decades. They blamed competition from China but needed to foresee how fracking would make natural gas much cheaper and cleaner. Their business models needed to account for cheaper fossil fuels. Cleantech companies relied on conventional wisdom about the need for alternative energy rather than finding their secret reasons for potential success. Rushing conventional solar and other clean technologies led many companies to bankruptcy. Cleantech embodied the myth of social entrepreneurship, the idea that companies can combine financial and social good. However, more than ambiguous social goals and applause from audiences are needed. Cleantech ended up achieving neither social nor financial success. Progress in green energy is held back by conformity and sameness in corporations and nonprofits. Tesla succeeded by doing something unconventional, focusing on building the best electric sports cars and sedans. Tesla got 7 key things right: superior technology that integrates many components, perfect timing to get government funding before skepticism set in, starting with a niche market. They could dominate assembling an exceptional team controlling the entire distribution chain, moving faster than competitors to widen their lead, understanding that interest in green energy was driven more by social status than environmentalism. They built coveted, high-status products. The cleantech bubble showed that more than macro insights are not needed. Successful companies need a specific solution to a particular problem. They must start small. Found the opposite traits following and even opposite traits that follow an inverse normal distribution. This could be innate or learned by going against conventions to forge their path. Their unusual traits make companies led by distinctive founders potentially more impactful but also riskier. Solid and visionary founders can be hard to replace. The essential qualities of founders are determination, flexibility, and vision. However, ego and charisma are overrated and can only be dangerous without substantive skills and judgment. The most promising founders have traits that would seem contradictory to ordinary people. Does this summary accurately reflect the key ideas and arguments in the passages? Let me know if you want me to clarify or expand on any summary part. Extreme founder figures like Sir Richard Branson and Sean Parker cultivate outlier personas amplified by media and public attention. It is hard to tell how much of their extreme traits are natural and how much is strategic self-mythologizing. Famous and infamous figures have always served as vessels for public sentiment. Primitive societies relied on scapegoats, contradictory figures who were simultaneously weak and powerful, to diffuse conflict. Before execution, scapegoats were often worshipped like deities. This is the origin of monarchy, where kings were living gods and gods were murdered kings. Celebrities are modern-day American royalty. We elevate them to superstardom but then revel in their downfall. Fallen stars who die young, like members of the 27 Club, achieve a kind of immortality. We have a similar love-hate relationship with technology founders like Howard Hughes and Bill Gates. Hughes was obsessed with flying higher and faster than anyone else. He cultivated a persona as immortal above ordinary men, inviting comparisons to a god. Though he achieved massive fame and success, a terrible plane crash began his slow descent into mental illness, addiction, and reclusion. Bill Gates embodied the founder archetype as an awkward outsider and the world's richest insider. His dominance as head of Microsoft in the 1990s was unparalleled. However, his success also attracted antitrust charges from the US government and made him a target of public ire. In summary, extreme and contradictory figures have long been vessels for public sentiment. As scapegoats, celebrities, and founders, they are simultaneously powerful and powerless, insiders and outsiders. Our relationships with them follow a predictable arc from worship to condemnation. Here's a summary. In the 1990s, the U.S. government investigated Microsoft for anti-competitive behavior and alleged monopolistic practices. In 2000, a court ordered that Microsoft be broken up. Bill Gates stepped down as Microsoft's CEO in 2000 to focus on the lawsuits. The legal threats deprived Microsoft of Gates' leadership. After the lawsuits ended, Microsoft entered a period of stagnation. Today Gates is better known as a philanthropist. Steve Jobs' return to Apple in 1997 demonstrated how founders are irreplaceable. In the 12 years after Jobs left, Apple almost went bankrupt. After he returned, Jobs introduced revolutionary products like the iPod, iPhone, and iPad. By 2012, Apple was the world's most valuable company. Jobs' vision and singular leadership were crucial to Apple's success. Companies that create new technologies often resemble monarchies, not bureaucracies. Founders can make bold decisions, inspire loyalty, and plan far ahead. Impersonal Boo. 4 possible scenarios exist. 4 possible scenarios exist for humanity's future: recurrent collapse, plateau, extinction, or technological takeoff. Recurrent collapse and extinction seem unlikely. A global plateau could lead to intensified competition and conflict. Technological progress leading to a better future seems likely, possibly culminating in a singularity with superhuman AI. The future is up to us. We must choose between stagnation and progress. We must seize opportunities to create new things that make the future different and better. We must think for ourselves and see the world anew. Time is a division of Time Incorporated, a global media company. The magazine covers news, events, and people influencing the world. It has been published weekly since 1923. The magazine features essays and articles on politics, science, entertainment, and more. It also highlights essential people through its Time 100 and Person of the Year recognitions. Some notable people who have appeared on the cover include Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, and Lady Gaga. The company owns several other significant media properties, including Fortune, People, Entertainment Weekly, and Sports Illustrated. Time Incorporated was acquired by Meredith Corporation in 2018 for $2.8 billion. That covers the key highlights of Time, its magazine, and its parent company Time Incorporated. Let me know if you want me to elaborate on any part of the summary. Book link, click here.